listening to Dream Culture by Kevin McLeod of Incompetech.com. It is the 26th of September 2015 at 1:15 in the morning in sleepy Stanley, County Durham. Hi everyone, Steve John C13 here, and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the first episode of what may prove to be an interesting experience for me. My first solo podcast series. Now, I've done podcasts on my own before. I did a solo episode of Shout on a few occasions, but this is a little different. This is a dedicated 1-hour show where I get to just ramble and rant and talk to anyone listening about some things on my mind. So, if you've happened to accidentally stumble upon me due to the ever-bizarre butterfly effect, or whether it's just because you've heard of me through other people, allow me to introduce myself a little bit. My online name is SteveJohn313. I'm 28. I'm a Capricorn. And I like long walks on the beach and the smell of freshly cooked grass. Well, actually, I don't like the beach. The beach sucks. But apart from that, it's all true. I am an emotional kind of guy. I'm a sensitive kind of guy. I believe in being honest about your emotions. I believe that when it comes to emotions and feelings, we should be sensitive and we should be open about these kind of things. We shouldn't mock those who are able to cry in public. We shouldn't mock those who are in touch with that emotional side. But at the same time, it's okay to hold back a little bit. Holding back a little bit is okay. I mean, you don't want to be crying over every little thing at all, So, I love music. I'm a singer of a very amateur sort. I'm a writer, and I love talking to people and communicating with people and sharing ideas about philosophy, psychology, politics to a certain extent. So, again, this show isn't going to be about one particular theme. It's not going to be solely around ethics or solely around psychology, politics, economy, social structure, the perfect muffin recipes. It's all about whatever is on my mind at the time, and that's purely it. So, let's get right into it. And by the way, if you hear any kind of sound effects in the background, that's just me pouring myself some pineapple juice. Brought to you by Asda, chosen by you, 100% pure pineapple juice from concentrate. Totally refreshing and sweet. That's 1 liter, 100% pure pineapple juice. They in no way sponsor this podcast. So, I'll tell you something that's been on my mind. But I can't seem to quite come to a reasonable conclusion. The whole thing about ignorance is, what is an acceptable level of ignorance? Now, I'm talking about the strict definition of the word. I'm talking about not knowing. Okay? What's okay? Is there a limit where it's okay to be ignorant to a certain extent? I mean, for example, if you think about all the people in this country who vote, and to be honest with you, you could apply this philosophy to any country in the world that has a voting system. Whether you're British like me, or American, Canadian, Australian, whatever. When you vote, do you really know what you're voting for? Are you voting for policies? Or are you voting on personality? It's a tough one, really. I mean, politically speaking, I know more than a few friends of mine. I know quite a bit about what's going on, but at the same time, I'm very well aware that I know little. I'm very well aware of my own ignorance on that matter. I couldn't explain to you the budget situation, or how the deficit works, or the triple bouncing recession, stuff like that. I mean, I couldn't plot an economic chart for you. I couldn't explain it like that. And yet, I'm given a vote. I get to vote in general elections, like many people my age. Which begs the question, what am I voting on? I'm voting on what I know, or at least what I assume I know. I read all the pamphlets, I read all the available information. For the sake of transparency, I'll tell you that in the last British election, in 2015, I voted for the Green Party. Now, I'd always been a Labour voter, but under Ed Miliband's kind of leadership, Labour just kind of felt like a diet version of Conservative, and I'm definitely not a Conservative. So I had to vote with change. And the thing is, the Green Party and I agree more than I do with any other party. So a Green Party it was. Now I knew they weren't going to win, but the thing is, if everyone chooses not to vote on the premise of they'll never win, then they'll never win. Because they didn't vote. The idiots. See, that's the thing, it really, really drives me mad when people say, oh, I'm not voting because they'll never win. And then of course they don't fucking win because the fuckers didn't vote. Seems a bit of an odd concept. I mean, some people compare it to the lottery. Say, well, I'm never going to win the lottery, so I'm not going to place my pound. The difference is, one is a 1 in 14 billion chance of winning a jackpot sum of money. The other is deciding who the fuck is going to be writing the laws in your country. People seem to be unforgivably flippant when it comes to elections. But why? Is it because we're disillusioned? Because we feel like no matter who we vote for, we're screwed anyway, so why should we bother? But think about it this way. Let's revisit the last election in 2015. Conservatives won the majority, which shocked pretty much everyone when we were expecting another hung parliament. What would have happened if everyone had risen up and decided to vote for the Liberal Democrats? Now, I'm not a Liberal Democrat, but imagine that. What if everyone who was sick of voting Conservative and everyone who was sick of voting Labour all voted for Liberal Democrats? That really would have changed the face of politics. It would have been a shakedown to this very foundation. The equivalent would be in America if, instead of a Democratic or Republican president, they ended up getting an independent. Like Ron Paul, Jesse the Body Ventura, something like that, you know? It would have been such a change that it would have rocked the political world. Now, what if it had been something like the Green Party? Now, imagine that. Now, I personally don't have a lot of positive things to say about Natalie Bennett, who leads the Green Party. I think she tries her best, but I think she's a deer in headlights in most situations. Good ideals, not the right person to execute them. But just think of what could have happened if all the people who were sick of Labour and sick of Conservative had voted for the Liberal Democrats, the Green Party. I mean, true, there were other parties involved. UKIP being one of the worst, led by Nigel Farage. The less said about them and the BNP, the better. Yet, these people write our laws and shape our world. They decide how we should live. They decide how we should act. They decide what is legal and okay, and not legal and bad. And yet these people we just flippantly allow into office in many respects without even so much as a fight. Our one shot to change government is every 5 years with a voting ballot. Why do we not vote? Is it because of the lottery tactic? Well, I'm not going to win, so what's the point? So, my guy isn't going to win, why should I bother? Well, this is true. This is a dangerous premise indeed. I mean, this is why people we don't like get into power. Because we just let them. We don't fight back. It's a very, very dangerous premise indeed. So what can we do to combat it? How do you fight back against apathy? Well, the succinct smart answer would be you get everybody to start caring again, but we're already dealing with our livelihoods, our investments, our future pensions, everything. And yet we don't care. We simply don't vote as a nation. We are flippant and apathetic. And I do get the point where some people feel like, well, it doesn't matter who I vote for, they're all gonna suck. Maybe. But one person will want to write different laws than the other person. Is that not worth the risk? So at what point is it okay to be ignorant? Well, I don't know enough about politics and such like that, so I'm not going to vote in case I make the wrong choice. Well, there's an interesting argument. The wrong choice. Truly, the idea has some merit. In fact, it's a responsible choice, right? Because at the end of the day, a person is choosing not to vote in case they make the wrong decision. But do we have a duty to ourselves to educate ourselves on what the right and wrong would be? Is it okay to be ignorant about this? Or should we not be teaching ourselves what we need to know to become able to make a knowledgeful, smart, educated decision? Is it on the duty of politicians to get us interested in politics, or for us to take an active interest in our country? I think, obviously, the latter. Politicians like the way it is now. They don't want more of us voting because votes go their way. We need to take a more active interest in our political system. So sticking on the theme of ignorance, and I've just dropped my speaker there, but keeping on the theme of ignorance and the idea of what is acceptable, here's something I can't seem to rectify in my mind. Exactly how old is old enough to know better? This again seems like a very weird concept to me because it has no real answer. I don't really know how to answer that question. I mean, kids grow up and so fast. They learn so quickly, and kids are becoming smarter and smarter and smarter every day. So exactly when is a child old enough to know better? How do we measure that? Do we pick an age and say, on that age, they should know better? Again, seems like a bit of an odd one to me. Makes very little way in the sense. Hardly scientific. But where does that barrier lie? Now, for some people, they'll say, well, as soon as they're self-aware. Well, that's an arguable one. Some people will say about 10, maybe 12. Some people will say that the minute they can walk and talk, they should know better. Now, I'm not a father, and I never will be, so perhaps this isn't something that should really bother me, but I don't like it when I can't answer a question. How old is old enough to know better? Is it a set date? Is it like, when you are this particular age, you are old enough to know better? Or is it an experience thing? It's not about how old you are, but how much you've experienced. Well, the second certainly makes true, except it may be a bit deep for a lot of kids. So how am I on a call? I'm wondering what parents would say to that question. Hey, how old was your kid when they became old enough to know better? That's certainly an interesting question. Can't quite fathom it myself. But here's another question for you guys, and this, again, on the theme of ignorance. Why is it that if you're religious, you can be mocked for it? But if you believe in karma, that's perfectly fine. Now, I am not a religious person. I certainly used to be. I was a Roman Catholic. I was an evangelical. So I've had a few different faiths, all centered around the Christian faith, of course. Right now, I would describe myself as an apatheist. I don't really care if there's a God or not. It's beside the point. I believe what you do on Earth matters, not based upon the whims of a celestial dictator, but rather on morality created by humanistic approach. But I hear people talk all the time about how people who believe in God are idiots or lunatics or insane or whatever. And yet these same people will talk about karma as if it actually exists. They'll talk about this all-governing entity who knows when you're good and knows when you're bad, and will punish you when you put evil in the world, and reward you when you've done good in the world by paying it forward. This does not happen in real life. It's a nice idea. The universe just naturally punishing and rewarding those as it sees fit. But come on, let's be frank here. If this was true, bankers wouldn't have billions of dollars that belong to us. We wouldn't have to have, Syrian refugees coming into our countries all across the globe, and honestly, things would be a lot better. See, karma is a nice idea. The idea of balance, You know, if you put evil in the world, eventually that evil will come bite you in the arse. And if you put good in the world, eventually that good will come and reward you. It's a nice... It's a nice thing to think. But where is the evidence for this? Where is the proof that such a thing happens? Because I haven't seen it yet. To me, it makes no sense. How does the universe know when to punish and when not to? Or does it know to reward and how much to reward? You see, karma and luck kind of fall in the same barrel for me. For me, I don't believe in luck. I believe luck is simply how we describe outcomes. Did you like what happened? Yes, then it was lucky. Did you like what happened? No, then it is unlucky. You know, it's all about describing how we feel about a consequence rather than an actual thing. Now, if you want to talk luck, okay, well, luck and probability go hand in hand. And people will say, it's a 1 in a million shot. Well, 1 in a million shots are being accomplished every fucking day. To the point where it's actually quite mundane. Not only that, but the idea of probability. You have a 1 in a million chance of, I don't know. Okay, let's say you have a 1 in a million chance of, you know, meeting a particular person at a particular time in a particular place. What that basically means is the likelihood that you'll accomplish that task is next to none. However, it's not impossible, just highly improbable. So if that person was able to meet that person at that specific time, in that specific place and all that, then we would call that lucky. If they weren't, we would call it unlucky. But again, these are just descriptions of consequence. And by the way, I apologise for the yawning. Like I said, it is way after 1 AM and it's been a long day. But yeah, it's lucky and unlucky describe our viewpoints on the consequence. So we look at the consequence on our side of things and we give it either a positive label, as in a lucky thing, or a negative label, as a bad thing, or unlucky. Again, it seems a bit bizarre. It doesn't really make much in the way of sense if you ask me. Seems a bit silly. But again, we buy it. We think it's okay. Sure, you could use terms of luck and karma, because at the end of the day, we're not saying that there is a fictional god looking down at everybody making the decisions. No, it's the whim of the universe. That makes far more sense, right? And now, I'm going to take a quick little break as we reach the 25-minute mark. Please enjoy upcoming song here. Now, I'm not going to be doing this a lot. This is really just something I'm trialing here, just to see how this pans out. Like I said, this is the first ever solo podcast I'm ever hosting, so I hope you'll bear with me. But just to give my voice a little bit of a rest, to give this a little shot here, I'd like to take you now to a cover I did of a song that has a very special meaning to me. A few years ago, I lost some very, very dear friends of mine. a lot of them through suicide, and so that was just something we recently discussed on #shout. There'll be a link in the description of the video to do that podcast where we talked about suicide, depression, and how it affects us. Now, there's a song by Within Temptation called Forgiven, and it's always resonated with me. It's always been a big part of me, and I always promised myself that I would record a cover one day as a tribute to my friends I lost. Well, I eventually did. So please enjoy my cover of Forgiven by Within Temptation, and then we'll be right back. Couldn't save you from the start. Love you so it hurts my soul. Can you forgive me for trying again? Your silence makes me hold my breath. Oh, time has passed you by. Ooh, for so long I tried to shield you from the world. Ooh, you couldn't face the freedom on your own. Here I am, left in silence. You gave up the fight, you left me behind. All that's done's forgiven, you'll always be mine. I know deep inside, all that's done's forgiven. I watch the clouds drifting away. Still the sun can't warm my face. I know it was destined to go wrong. You were looking for the great escape, to chase your demons away. Ooh, for so long I tried to shield you from the world. Ooh, you couldn't face the freedoms on your own. Here I am, left in silence. You gave up the fight, you left me behind. All that's done's forgiven, you'll always be mine. I know deep inside, all that's done's forgiven. I've been so lost since you've gone. Why not me before you? Why did fate deceive me? Everything turned out so wrong. Why did you leave me in silence? You gave up the fight, you left me behind. All that's done's forgiven, you'll always be mine. I know deep inside, all that's done's forgiven. Friendship is so important, and I think some people can take friendship for granted. I think some people can sometimes lose sight of what's important. The truth is, friendships can last forever. They can also be incredibly fragile and last for mere moments. The important thing about friendship is a friend isn't just someone you like and someone you get on with. A friend, not an acquaintance, but a friend is someone that you can trust. It's someone you can talk to and be yourself with. If you can't be yourself around a person, they are not your friend. Likewise, if you can't be yourself around a person, maybe you shouldn't be around them at all. If you have to pretend to be something you're not to be near somebody, they're not the kind of person you want to be with in terms of a friend or a partner. Of course, if what you are is a psychopathic, raving, lunatic murderer, then maybe the problem's you, not them. But I see such small shit destroy friendships, and it's so fucking heartbreaking. When I see small, insignificant, backstage political bullshit rip friends apart, it's so fucking sad. So, how do you maintain a strong friendship? Now, I'm by no means an expert, but some things that I would like my friends to do. If I had many friends, and I want to keep them all, I don't. I have a few friends, but a couple of tips that I would recommend. 1. Be honest about how you feel. I don't want to waste a friend's time boring them to death with the same old shit. You know what it's like. You visit a friend, or a friend visits you, you get the YouTube on, or the music, you play something, and you are really, really wanting your friend to like it as well, but guess what? They couldn't give a shit. Or even more so, they don't like it. I'd rather a friend just tell me this shit so that I won't bore them with it again. Also about things that make them uncomfortable and awkward. If there's something about the way you handle, the way I handle myself, or the way I speak that's uncomfortable for a friend, or makes them feel like they can't really be near me, I'd rather they tell me. If they tell me, I can do something about it. I can tone my language down, I can change the vocabulary I use, I can adjust my tone. It drives me mad when there's a problem and a friend doesn't tell me. I need to know that there's a problem so I can get it solved, or at the very least, know that the friendship's over. I need something. The other thing that I also ask is, don't lie to me about stupid shit. I personally don't care if a friend doesn't like my hairstyle or my clothes, whatever. That's fine. They're entitled to their opinion. But what I can't stand is when a friend sees he has a problem with me and then goes and tells somebody else. And this happens several fucking times in friendships. The only thing I can say is, guys, man, come on, have a bit of common sense. If you've got a problem with somebody, surely the person you want to talk to is the person you have that problem with. Now, I'm not talking about a professional manner where you have managers to escalate to and complaint departments, etc., etc. I'm talking purely social. And also, remember, you're not the only one that needs help. One thing that I've noticed a lot of is a lot of my friends ask for help. But a lot of friends assume that if I'm not currently busy, it means I'm available to talk to. It means, oh well, he's not talking to other people, so he must be able to talk to me. And I can't tell you how much of a fucking hassle and pain it is, because there I am, just desperately wanting to relax, I've tired myself, and there my time is being booked without much in the way of an argument. It is truly aggravating. So, yeah. But some positive steps here, because I don't want you to think this is a negative show. Positive steps. Check in every day. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Something I like to do, I haven't done it in a while, but I'll get back to doing it, is I text pretty much everyone on my phone list with a simple message saying, how are you? Some of them answer, some of them don't. That's fine. It's just asking everybody how they're doing. Every now and then, I'll pick a friend at random. Sorry, you get yawning there. I'll pick somebody at random to give a quick social call to, just to see how they're doing. Again, it's nothing super difficult, but it's a nice thing, because imagine that. There you are, and also you just get a friendly text from a friend just saying, hey, how are you doing? And maybe they'll ring you, just for a little chat, even if it's only a couple of minutes, and a lot of times that's what it was. It's just about being nice and helping people out. Also, if your friend says he needs to talk, listen. It might be awkward for you. You might not really know what to say. Trust me, if you can get the friend to open up and vent whatever, it'll seem so much better. And finally, be careful when you're criticising. There are some things which you need to help a friend with. If they're about to make themselves look insanely stupid, then yeah, if you step in to help them out. But if you just don't like things about like their fashion, the way they, their take on fashion or whatever, they don't really need to know. Alright, it's not really important in the grand scheme of things. But yes, look out for your friends, but don't judge them. Because what would be the point? See, friendship is such a beautiful thing. Friendship is amazing. And I truly value every friend that I have. And I've mistreated friends. There's one friend in particular. Shortly after I split up with my second ex, kind of found myself in a downward spiral. And I met this guy. He was cool, this cool, random, mysterious guy. We bonded over a conversation regarding the TARDIS and Jesus or something. But this is back in 2007, 2008. Well, sorry, correction, 2008 to 2009. And we met, and we were chilling, and life was pretty good. Problem is, he introduced me to his other friends, and that's when it all starts. The politics, the backstage bullshit was not fun, and eventually devolved, and words were said, and it's the point now where me and him really don't talk. I mean, he's making all the effort in the world, God bless him, but I kind of feel like there's a lot that needs to heal for me to work on that. And also, I just feel like a general dick, because it's gotten that point where I just feel like I've got nothing to offer in a friendship. Like, I'm exhausted. And I really feel bad for him, because, he is a nice guy. He's fucking crazy. He'd be the first one to admit that he's a fucking lunatic. But you know, I do miss the friendship sometimes there. But you know, time moves on. Oh. So how are you guys finding this podcast? Hopefully you're enjoying it, and it's not too low or it's not too sad. I'm sincerely hoping that, you know, you're enjoying it. I really would like feedback, so if you could leave me some comments, either in the YouTube section, comment section, or Tumblr, Facebook, or even on the SoundCloud comments, that would be truly, truly appreciative. I would be so happy if you could do that. So, what I'd like to do, just to kind of brighten things up a little bit, put some smile on our faces, as I like to play you another one of my songs, before we look towards coming towards the end of the show. Now again, I don't think I'll be doing a lot of this kind of thing on every show. This is really just my first kind of show to get us, you know, get it out of the way, get the nerves out, and see what we can do. So I'm going to play you a song or two, I think probably two. The first song is on the topic we were talking about, which is friendship. My favourite Disney movie of all time is Aladdin. Aladdin is an amazing Disney movie. It is the best Disney movie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my cover of Friend Like Me. Now this is what I recorded as a tribute to Robin Williams during his sad passing. This was a tribute to him, and I sincerely hope you guys like it. And then I will play another song, and then we'll look to getting everything wrapped up there. So please enjoy.
Well, Alibaba had them 40 thieves, Shahrazad had 1,000 tales. Master, you in luck, cause up your sleeves, you got a brand of magic never fails. Got some power in your corner now, spare ammunition in your camp. You got some punch, pizzazz, you and how, all you gotta do is rub that lamp. And I'll say, Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? Let me take your order, shut him down, you ain't never had a friend like me. No, 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 life is your restaurant, and I'm your maitre d'. Come on, whisper what it is you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. Yes, sir, we pride ourselves on service. You're the boss, the king of the show. Say what you wish, it's yours to dish. About a little more baklava. Have some of column A, try all of column B. I'm in the mood to help you, dude. You ain't never had a friend like me. Oh my. Oh no, can your friends do this? Can your friends do that? Can your friends pull this? Add a little here. Can your friends go boom? And look at here. Can your friends go abracadabra, let her rip, and then make Zucker disappear? So don't you sit there, select your bucket out of me to answer all your midday prayers. You got my bone ass, feet ass, certified. You got a GD for your shash to fare. I got a powerful urge to help you. What's what you wish I really want to know? You got a list that's 3 miles long, no doubt. All you gotta do is rub like so and oh. Mr. Aladdin, sir, have a wish or 2 or 3. I'm on the job, you ain't never. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. You ain't never had a friend like me. You ain't never had a friend like me. There's a calm surrender to the rush of day When the heat of the rolling world can be turned away, an enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. There's a time for everyone, if they'd only learn that the twisting kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. There's a rhyme and a reason to the wild outdoors, when the heart of this star-crossed Voyager beats in time with yours. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best.
Friend Like Me from Aladdin, Circle of Life from The Lion King. Much better. Just had myself a nice little break, just to get all the negatives on my head there. So, we've talked about ignorance, we've talked about friendship, we talked about the idea of politics and all that stuff. So, we've talked about a lot of stuff. And I think it's all gone well. But what I'd like to talk about are you guys. This podcast is going to be at least every week, and I would love to feature music. So if you guys have got some songs of your own that you'd like me to play on this, I would absolutely love for you guys to let me know. If you guys have any idea of any topics you'd like me to discuss, any kind of particular subjects, or if you have any questions for me, send those questions to stevejohnc13.tumblr.com/ask. Because it's Tumblr, you can either sign in and send me the question, or you can just send me a question anonymously. Also, if there are questions left in the YouTube comments, or the SoundCloud comments, or the Tumblr comments, I will do my very best to answer them. On the Facebook comments as well. So, this has been an interesting experience for me. So let me finish it off by a personal goal of mine, something I'd like you guys to help me out with. I'm currently 277.2 pounds. I'm 5'5.5". I am a stupidly fat bastard. And I'd like to, trim down, lose some weight, and, get to a fitter state. Now I'm doing okay. I've been making some major changes to my diet, which helps, but I really need to start busting my ass more and get some work done. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is every week I will be letting you guys know how I'm doing with my weight loss. And if you guys have any tips and hints for me, I would absolutely love to get that from you. But as we near the end, I think we've done alright for our first show. I sincerely hope you guys have enjoyed this to some extent. I hope it's been at the very least relaxing, if not interesting. But as of now, I would like to thank you all for tuning in. It's been a tremendous honour for me to work with some awesome people in the past and have even a few of you listen, so I sincerely hope you will listen to this podcast here. But for now, that will be all. So next week, who knows what I'll talk about? Maybe I'll talk about the fact that myself, my brother, and my best friend are going to Newcastle Comic Con. Maybe we'll talk about other things. But for now, that's going to be all for me. So while that music plays, I'd just like to remind you to please check out soundcloud.com/SteveJones013, youtube.com/SteveJones013, SteveJones313.tumblr.com. You can find me on Twitter at SteveJones313 and SteveJones313.deviantart.com. But that's all for me, so we take you back now to Dream Culture by Karen McLeod of Incompetech.com, description in the video, description part. Thank you for joining me on my first ever episode of this podcast. I've been SteveJones313. Howd up, my friends. Until next time.